Good morning, students. So, today I am sending this recording for your chemistry class on Monday. So, I am sending this one. Already I sent the new revised syllabus to you. Okay, some portions of the syllabus are reduced from each chapter. I think all of you are going through this syllabus, new syllabus. So, according to that, the last part of this topic, so many part of this topic is reduced. How much part? The concluding portion I am going to conclude this today. Okay, so according to that I am starting that one. Let's continue our topic up to the properties of salt. We have to start general properties of salt. General properties of salt we are going to start. Okay, so when you are reading first property, the common property, most common property, that is the electrolytic property. That means all the salts, most of the salts, or you can say all the salts, or most of the salts, you can say, are strong electrolytes because they are having a negative radical or acid radical and a basic radical. So either in their solution form, if they are soluble, in their soluble form they are ionizing, they are giving ions, or if they are insoluble in water, in their molten state they are giving ions. Okay, all the salts, almost all the salts giving ions. So all the salt in their soluble form or in fused state, they are acting as a good electrolyte. That means they can conduct electricity. Okay. Second one, the structure. They are the solid and crystalline structure. Most of all the salts are in solid form, available in solid form. You cannot find any liquid solid. They are the hard solids. Some of them are in crystalline form. Again, when you are discussing the crystalline form, you can say some are hydrated crystalline. Some are hydrated crystalline. Some are dehydrated crystalline. Hydrated crystalline like your ferric chloride FeCl3, that is crystalline but they contain the hydrated crystalline copper sulfate solutions. Copper sulfate, CuSO4, your green vitriol, blue vitriol, all the things are hydrated crystalline because their crystalline structure are due to the water content in them. Again, dehydrated crystalline, that is the ferric chloride or sodium chloride, like that. Okay, so this is about your structure. Due to the strong electrolytic bond or electrovalent bond, they are found in the solid form. You cannot find in the liquid form. Third one is the solubility. I think all of you know the solubility graph. Last year in 9th class you saw the solubility graph. Okay, according to solubility graph, the potassium salts, that is potassium nitrate KNO3, potassium bromide, potassium chloride and potassium sulfate K2SO4, all these are, the solubility of all these salts are increasing very highly. This is very high, and other than this, these three are also having more solubility with increasing temperature. Okay, again I am repeating, potassium salts like potassium nitrate, potassium bromide, potassium chloride, potassium sulfate, all their solubility increases with temperature. You can observe this with the solubility curve. Okay, so after this one, your sodium salt, they are not changing any variability when you are changing the temperature. Okay, again some salts are showing anomalous character like your calcium sulfate. their solubility decreases after a certain temperature. Their solubility decreases with temperature. So all these things you can go through by the solubility curve given last year. Next, the what about solubility? How can you say some salt is soluble or partial soluble or insoluble? When the salt 1 gram of any salt, when 1 gram of any salt can dissolve in 100 ml of water at room temperature, that is 25 degrees centigrade, you can say that these salts are soluble salts. Again I am repeating, in 100 ml of solvent or water, when 1 gram of at least 1 gram of any salt is dissolving at room temperature, then you can say this is the soluble salt. If the solubility is in between 0.1 gram to 1 gram in 100 ml of water at the same temperature 25 degree, we can say this is the partially soluble salts. Okay. Next one, when the solubility is below this one, in same 100 ml of water in 25 degrees centigrade, you can say this is insoluble salts. Okay. In actual sense, for long term or for long time interval, every substance is soluble. Almost all substance is soluble in water, but we cannot consider them as soluble because instantly they are not soluble. Okay. So accordingly, according to the amount of solute dissolved in a solvent, certain quantity of solvent, you can decide any substance is soluble in that or not. Okay. Next one, the important one, that is the hydrolysis. Hydrolysis mostly coming in exam. Hydrolysis. Okay. This is a new topic. Okay. Hydrolysis, first understand, this is a phenomenon. First of all, this is a phenomenon. It happens when a salt prepared from strong acid and weak base, or a salt made from weak acid and strong base. In this case, the salt when dissolved in water, that is the solution showing the acidic property or basic property, that phenomenon is known as hydrolysis. Okay. Again I am saying, when the strength of acid radical and basic radical of a salt, of a particular salt, is not same, then the salts when dissolved in water, they are showing particular type of property, either acidic property or basic property. So this solution property is known as your hydrolysis. You can understand this one with certain example. Example 1, I am saying a salt formed from a strong base, NaOH, strong base, you know. It is a strong base, and weak acid I am considering, you know, CH3, COOH, acetic acid, that is a weak acid. It is a base. So the salt from these two is sodium acetate, CH3COOH. Okay. The salt formed from this is sodium acetate. When this salt is dissolved in water, that will give you CH3COO as a negative radical and Na as a positive radical. Okay. Due to the strength of this radical is higher, in that case the salt will behave as the salt solution will behave as a basic solution. Understood? When the basic part is stronger, then the salt solution will give the basic solution. Okay. Similarly, another example I am taking, your hydrogen chloride, that is a strong acid. Okay, strong acid. Then FeOH thrice, that is a weak base. Okay. So when these two combine with each other, that will give you FeCl3. It is a salt which dissolved in water, that will give you Fe3 plus as positive ion, basic ion, and Cl minus 3Cl minus ion as a acid ion. Here the Cl minus ion is a strong ion. That's why the salt solution will show you the acidic character. Okay, acidic character. So this type of property is known as your hydrolysis property. Okay, then what about the salt from both strong acid and strong base? Suppose you are forming a salt from a strong acid and strong base, sulfuric acid, strong acid plus sodium hydroxide, strong base. At that case, your salt will be Na2SO4. At that case, it is a salt formed from strong acid and strong base plus water. So at that case, what happened? At that case, this salt solution is neither acidic or neither basic. Okay, this type of salt solution is neither acidic or nor basic. Okay, so when, again I am repeating, when the salt formed from both strong acid and strong bases, at that case the solution prepared from that salt that is showing a neutral behavior. That means when you are using a pH scale, that will show the pH value 7. That means the strength of acid part and basic part are same, so the solution will behave neutrally. Okay. Then what about the salts formed from weak acid and weak bases? Weak, when the both acid part and basic part are weak, at that case the strength of the solution cannot be decided by orally. Okay, that is decided by the type of or particular type of acid or base, which one is present. According to the ionizing property, you can say the salt solution is acidic or basic. So another salt solution I am saying ammonium acetate. Here acid part and basic part both are acid part and basic part both are weaker one. At that case, they can show either acidic character or basic character or neutral character according to the situation. Okay, so here the properties of salts over. Next one, the simple preparation is not given in your book, but particular type of topic is given, that is the decomposition by dilute acid, that is coming under your preparation. Which preparation? Preparation of salts, soluble salts. Okay, preparation of soluble salts. After telling this one, I am going to conclude this chapter. Okay, so preparation of soluble salts. Okay, so some of these terms are given in your book. So preparation of the soluble salt. The first one is the direct combination. You can say, see, direct combination mostly. First one, direct combination method. Iron when combined with chlorine. Okay, iron when combined with chlorine, that will give you FeCl3. Okay, direct combination method it is. You can see here, iron when heated with chlorine in a compact container, glass rod, in the absence of air, they are combining with each other to form a crystalline salt, that is FeCl3. That is the direct combination method. Okay, so I am saying you about the soluble salts. So second one, that is the simple displacement. All of you know simple displacement. when very active metals reacting with acids like your sodium or potassium, when treated with dilute acid, they are creating the salt, preparing the salt with the evolution of hydrogen gas. Okay, they are creating the salt, preparing the salt along with the hydrogen. Similarly, potassium when treated with HCl, that will give you potassium chloride plus hydrogen gas. This first one is direct combination. It is the displacement method. Okay. Third one that is given as an important topic. Third one, please concentrate. Third one, it is the decomposition, preparation of salts. Preparation of salts by decomposition with nitric acids. Okay, this one we can read with different headings. So this one I can give here decomposition by acids. Okay, by dilute acid, decomposition of, so different substances can be decomposed with the action of direct acid to give you salt. First one I am saying the carbonates and hydrogen carbonates. Okay, so metallic carbonates and metallic hydrogen carbonate when treated with acid, any dilute acid, that will give you corresponding salt along with carbon dioxide gas and water. So example, sodium carbonate plus HCl, it is dilute acid. You can write dilute here. It will give you corresponding salt NaCl, NaCl plus carbon dioxide and water. Okay, carbon dioxide and water. So here the carbonate is decomposing to give you corresponding salt and water. Okay, next one I will give you a example of hydrogen carbonate. Okay, hydrogen carbonate when decomposed with an acid, that will also give you the corresponding salt. Okay, hydrogen carbonate, calcium hydrogen carbonate. So here I wrote here again acid. I am changing the acid. You can see here that will give you calcium nitrate CaNO3 twice calcium nitrate along with carbon dioxide along with water. Here the salt again decomposing into the different parts. So balance, I am not doing balancing here. If anything remain, you can understand, you can balance the equation. So here we are reading about the decomposition of salts by acids. Okay, so first one already over, carbonates and bicarbonates. Second thing, that is the sulfides and hydrogen sulfides. Okay, so sulfides, similarly sulfides and hydrogen sulfides, same type of reaction is there. Sulfide and hydrogen sulfide when reacts with any dilute acid, they will give the similar type of reaction, but the type of gas produced is sulfur dioxide. For example, again I am giving sodium sulfide Na2SO3 when treated with HCl, that will give you NaCl. Again I am repeating, I am not doing balancing here, you can understand. NaCl plus SO2 plus H2O. Here the gas evolved is SO2. Okay, because sulfide is there, it will produce SO2. Similarly, suppose you are doing magnesium hydrogen sulfide. Okay, I think formula is correct. When it is treated with sulfuric acid. Okay, so sulfite is there, that's why most probable nitric acid you can take HNO3. Okay, magnesium hydrogen sulfide reacting with HNO3, that will give you magnesium nitrate twice plus, what is the gas here? Same, SO2 gas plus H2O. So this is the decomposition of sulfide and hydrogen sulfide. Okay, next sulfide I have to write. Okay, preparation of sulfides, decomposition of sulfides. When sulfides, suppose CaS, calcium sulfide, treated with any acid. Okay, calcium sulfide treated with any acid, that will give you CaCl2, that is a salt. Then you can get the gas H2S. Here water particle will not produce, directly H2S gas will be prepared. Understood? Then when chlorides coming into the chlorides already I told you, chlorides are the strong salts, or the negative radicals are stronger, so mostly they are not decomposed by the acids, but some of the chlorides is decomposed with hot concentrated sulfuric acid with higher temperature. I am saying sodium chloride plus sulfuric acid, this one concentrated, it cannot be decomposed with a dilute acid. Concentrated acid, when you are taking at below 200 degrees, less than 200 degrees centigrade, it will remove one hydrogen gas, that will be here NaHSO4 plus, this will remove HCl. Decomposition takes place. Again, when you are increasing the temperature above 200 degrees centigrade, that will prepare complete decomposition takes place, that will give Na2SO4 plus HCl. Okay, so that is the decomposition of chlorides. Last one is nitrates. Again, nitrates, how nitrates decompose? Nitrates also mostly not decomposing by dilute acids. However, lead nitrates can decompose with nitric acid and sulfuric acid. So lead nitrate, I am writing here, lead nitrate, how they are decomposing? Lead nitrate PbNO3 twice when reacting with H2SO4. Okay, H2SO4, or it can react with HCl also at first stage at below 200 degrees centigrade. It can decompose partially to give PbHSO4 plus HNO3. Okay, PbHSO4 plus HNO3. Again, HNO3, if you are increasing the temperature, it will give you PbSO4 twice with HNO3. Okay, so it is a decomposition of nitrates. You can see again other salts also you can take, other nitrates also you can take. In place of lead nitrate, you can take potassium nitrate, KNO3. It is reacting with sulfuric acid. Same, first stage it will form potassium hydrogen sulfate. Second stage it will form potassium sulfate. Okay, below 200 degrees sulfate, only one hydrogen will remove. Higher than 200 degrees centigrade, it can decompose completely. Okay, next preparation of soluble salt is the neutralization. That is the common thing all of you know titration and neutralization. So neutralization, all of you know, next preparation is neutralization. When you are reading about neutralization, when you are reading, you know, when acid is reacting with a base to give you salt and water only. Okay? Neutralization means when an acid reacts with a base, acid radical of acid and basic radical of base combine with each other to give a salt, and the rest of the radical give you water. Again, neutralization, you can say when the salt prepared is soluble in water. When the salt prepared is a soluble salt, you can say the neutralization process is known as titration. Okay. So what is titration here? When by neutralization a soluble salt is formed, at that case we are saying the process titration. When the salt formed is insoluble, then the solution is known as neutralization. Okay, or you can say titration is a particular type of neutralization. Okay, all the neutralization reactions are not titration reaction, but titration reactions are the neutralization reaction. Okay, again I am repeating, when through a neutralization reaction salt prepared which is soluble in water, that process is known as titration. But for all the cases, soluble or insoluble, the process is known as neutralization. Here I have completed here the topic acid, bases and salts. So here students listen, the rest of the part is not included, that part is reduced from your topic. If you want, you can go through. Last thing I have to say here, one more thing I have to say here, the last chapter 3 C section, you can see the last section, that is the type of salts, that is the efflorescent salts, deliquescent salts, hygroscopic salts, crystalline salts, hydrated salts. These terms are not included in your course, but that are given in your 9th class book. So simply go through the example and the definition. Okay, you cannot leave. If you want, I will say one time the definition. Okay, so efflorescent, hygroscopic, that deliquescent substance, drying agent, dehydrating agent, all these things you have to go through one. So students, here I am completing today's topic. Okay, go through the chapter. Those question answer, exercise question answer included in your portion. Go through that. After completing, if you have any doubt, you can ask through your WhatsApp group. One more thing, tomorrow I have added one more class, Tuesday also. Then I will start the chapter 4, analytical chemistry. Okay, thank you.